there's a difference when it comes to fears, right? Between like our gut feeling, our discernment, something that we are being guided to not go with. And then sometimes a fear is because we are just uninformed of something. And I feel like in this case, this was something where maybe this person just was uninformed. The Chariot here, it's reminding me of like a fortune teller. So the example that's kind of being set up here in these cards is how somebody's kind of, you know, people can be scared of the unknown. I think a lot of times we give a lot more power to things, or a lot more power to the fear, because we're just not familiar with it, or we don't know about it. And it seems like this was the case for someone. But we also have the Hermit, and then we have the Three of Cups. So I saw this as like when you go to a fortune teller on like a holiday, or like Halloween or something like that, and people who aren't super familiar with the craft usually do things like that, but it's like celebratory, or they'll do it for like shits and giggles, because it suits the theme of the occasion, right? But then any other day of the week, with that same stigma being applied, it is not something that, you know, is openly accepted to everyone. And this reading is not about this per se. It's not necessarily just about tarot reading. It could definitely be, especially because I have purpose here, so you could do what I do. So this couldn't be the case, but there's this fear of the unknown, or fear of something being very, very powerful. And I think that this is somebody who, like, also for some reason, the example of like when you are house sitting for someone and their dog is home, but you're scared of like that breed of dog. And so you have some fear going into it. And what popped into my head was somebody being like, all right, I can do this. Like, I just got to sedate the dog when I get into the house. And it's like, a lot of this I'm like want to giggle at, because I feel like whatever this fear is, it may be something where if you heard about this, you would giggle a little bit. Because it's kind of giving like, no, you don't have to sedate him. Like, he doesn't bite. Like, he's just, you can just pet him and like, you won't be scared. Like, he's fine. We have humor and we have worry, right? Whatever this person maybe had some fear of, it could have been something that the people around them also have a fear of. It could have also been something where their friends, or they themselves with humor could have kind of laughed at this. But it's kind of showing up like this person, their humor in the situation maybe was to hide their fear here. Because it's something where if this person told you about the fear, you maybe would humor that, or you would maybe giggle, just because I want to say you would know how uninformed this person was based on them telling you about this fear, not because you were making fun of them, or you'd be like laughing at them or like bullying them. I think it is just the kind of fear where it's like, you know, you don't have to be scared of your dog, but people who are unfamiliar with your dog, or you have a scary breed of dog, or it's something where it's stigmatized, or it gets a bad rap, or has had a bad rap, then you maybe can understand this person's fear, and you also know your dog. So it's like, you know, it would be something where, like, for my dog, right, like, she's a German Shepherd. When my dad comes over, he like doesn't even look her in the eye, because he sees big dog, protective dog, right? But it's funny to me to see my dad act like that around my dog, because it's my dog. She's more scared of him than he is of her. It's like there is a lack of familiarity, right? Also, the Strength card is like somebody petting their dog. But it's like, because I have my breed of dog and I'm petting my dog, I'm like, oh wow. It's like, oh, she's so brave. Whatever this is. The thing about this though is that with the Seven of Wands and then the King of Pentacles right here, I also think that there's something important about the idea that sometimes someone else's fear is not just protection of them, it's protection for you. For this person to not be in the territory that you are in with whatever this is. Or it could be, you know, I don't think it's specifically just about tarot or like spiritual gifts or psychic gifts or things like that. It could just be that this was something where whatever this person maybe thought was expected of them in a certain relationship or certain atmosphere was not. Or it could be that they assumed that there were certain expectations that were going to be like placed on them. And I think this person was worried about that. And so I think that part of that maybe stopped them from coming forward with anything here in whatever this context was. And I'm going to pull some cards so we can figure out some more specifics or see what this is. This might end up just being a reading where I talk about fear though. Or it could just be like, this is trying to inform you so that you can understand that it's not necessarily you as a person, but I think sometimes people misunderstand things and it's not your job, I guess, to help them to not be scared. It's something where like, if they're not wanting to be informed, they don't have to be, right? And like I was saying at the very beginning, sometimes we have like a gut feeling, or sometimes people are really superstitious about certain things, or they're just like their own discernment is telling them like, no, I don't want to be in that territory. And that is something where I think with the 5 of Swords and then Strength, it's giving like, we have to respect that at the end of the day. I also think that there's something honorable in both the ability to conquer a certain fear and also the ability to respect that someone else has that fear, or that someone else is just choosing based on their free will to not enter a certain territory. Like this collective might be someone who would honor this fear as something that it's like, absolutely, I respect that, to each their own. Like if my dad doesn't want to pet my dog, I'm not going to force him to pet the dog. But I still think it's something where because this person doesn't have this person's uninformed to some extent, that you can understand and you can see where the fear is, but you also can how do I say this? The 7 of Cups, it's like all of this unknown, all of this mystery, and then you're the Hermit over here that has the flashlight that looks through all the fog and shows someone that is not the case, right? It's not something where they have to conquer everything that they thought was gonna be a fear of them, that they thought would be realistic about the scenario. It's kind of like, well, no, when you have the right tools to be able to see through all of this, stigma or uncertainty, then that's when you see that this actually is a situation where like you can understand how I got to where I got type of thing. So with you showing up as the King of Pentacles, what's interesting is I feel like you and the person you're associated with are both a King of Pentacles. And that is somebody who like in their own right, in their own day-to-day life, in the material world around them, there's this energy of like comfort, but there's also this energy of like establishment, right? Like somebody who has earned their spot, earned their place, earned their energy of comfortability, somebody who worked their way up to that and is mature, is grown, is capable. They understand their